On today's show, we're going to talk 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. So let's do this right now. If you're new to my channel, my name is David Boyd. I'm an auto journalist, and when it comes to off-road things, I get really excited. I'm very excitable about off-road vehicles. And this one here, when you see the Land Cruiser name thrown out there like this, that's time to get excited. And well, we're going to talk about it. So that, the press events out there, everybody's seen this thing. They've all done their first reviews of it, but there's only maybe one or two of those people that did reviews that I actually respect as people who would know off-road vehicles. And now all the auto journalists I respect, but some of the reviews, they talked about all the creature comforts and all that, but I want to talk about capability. And this thing looks totally capable, man. You're going to get a rear locker. You're going to get a center locking diff. You're going to get all these features of it, and it's all-time four-wheel drive, that's very exciting. And this thing is pretty interesting to look at. I think the Land Cruiser name, of course, it's got a huge heritage to this thing. It's been around forever, since 1958, which is cool that they did a 1958 model. This is one of those vehicles you think of, well, there's the Land Cruiser name, or there's the Land Rover name, or the Range Rover name. And I think those names have such, respect to normal people buying them, is because you've seen these on any documentary you see from Africa or somewhere in South America. You do see these vehicles in there doing what they're supposed to be, just being badass off-road vehicles, chewing through the mud, going to, crossing bridges over logs. Like, they do that. And I think people get excited with vehicles like this when you can actually own it, or your neighbor has one in their driveway, and you can put two and two together, and there's your fun vehicle. Now, I want to talk about the looks of this thing just a little bit, because, well, it's got two kind of unique looks. The 1958 model and the limited edition has these round lights, and the Land Cruiser edition, which is weird, because does that mean you have a Land Cruiser, or how does that work? But the fact that I think it has those cool futuristic looking square lights, and they're kind of a throwback. You might say, well, they look like maybe like that 70 series, maybe a little bit 80 series in there. But I like the fact that you look at the side of this thing, and it's just very futuristic looking. When I grew up, it's what I thought a vehicle was going to look like. And, well, we're here now. I'm still not grown up, but we're here now, and we get to see these kind of futuristic looking vehicles and capability. Now we're going to get that new iForce Max engine, and we've talked about a little bit about that with the new Tacoma that's coming out. Horsepower, 326 horsepower. The torque is ridiculous because it is a hybrid, so you're going to get 465 foot-pounds of torque in this thing from that assisted electric motor in that, which I like. I've said for a long time, Toyota has the right direction going hybrid with this. Yes, we're losing cylinders. Only reason we're losing cylinders because of emissions. You got to meet these stringent standards. Well, let's keep taking keep taking cylinders away, and then we can keep meeting those. So I think Toyota's on the right track with the way their setup is. Now, long term, we're yet to be seen. I know it's kind of out there with the Tundra and the V6 and the Sequoia, but long term, 100, I want to see these 100, 150,000 miles, see this tech. Knowing Toyota, it's probably proven, and we have nothing to worry about, but I kind of do want to see the long terms of this. Now, seating in this thing, I think a lot of people were expecting this thing to be, when we heard all Land Cruisers coming back, they expected this thing to be a land yacht, and this is not a land yacht, which I'm happy to see. It's not. Now, it's a 5-seater. Now, why is that? Well, you've got a big battery in the back of this thing, and I've seen enough reviews, and I'm sure you've seen enough reviews about this thing where the battery pack sits. They want to put the spare tire under the rear of the vehicle. You got a battery sitting there as well. Got to lose something, and, well, I don't think the idea of a 7-seater in this vehicle is needed. I know we have Sequoia for that, and I know people complain about the cargo room of the Sequoia, which I like the Sequoia quite a bit. But there's going to have to be some give and take. You continue to want these off-road vehicles, well, we got to give a little bit to get what we want. And I don't see it losing that much. I think it lost a couple inches, probably 3 or 4 inches of actual usable space. But at the end of the day, I don't know anybody that crams anything all the way to their roof anyway. So I'm not going to complain about that. Probably where I'm going to use this vehicle in off-roading and taking my daughter to softball practice, it's practical enough for me that I'm not too worried about it. And I'm actually thinking about when the order banks open up for these things, when dealerships kind of get their allocations, I'm actually thinking about getting one of these things because I think it's pretty badass. And it took me a minute. My first thoughts of this vehicle was, I don't know. because I saw those round lights. And well, I have a Bronco with round lights and I kind of like those. But on this particular vehicle, doesn't necessarily do it for me. So that, you know what that means. I'm definitely in that middle ground of the Land Cruiser. And where, from what you've seen of the specs, where are you at with this? Which one would you choose? But overall, I think Toyota is going to have a hit on their hands. And I only worry about one thing, and I'm not going to be the first one to say this, is in 2025, we have the new Forerunner coming out. And where does that position the Forerunner? Forerunner's been king here in the United States, and the Land Cruiser's been sort of like an afterthought here in the United States, mostly because I think price and size. But the Forerunner has been just reliable. The vehicle still looks pretty good, and they still sell a ton of that. But this is now playing in the price range of that. At the mid 50K is where they're saying this thing's going to start. So you can expect 55, 56, 57,000 for the basic 1958 model. You know, we do see some Forerunners getting into that territory. And I know some people want that. They want that Forerunner badging, because with Toyota, it's all about the heritage of that badging. And Forerunner here in the United States has a ton of heritage. So where does that mean for the Forerunner? Does that mean that since the Land Cruiser is coming down in price, going from the $90,000 to $100,000 price range into the 50s, 60s, and maybe 70s, does that mean that they're going to take the Forerunner now and place it down into a more of a, I won't say entry level, but more of a affordable level of a vehicle? I don't know, but it does make it exciting for where Toyota is going to go with this, because we do anticipate the Forerunner is going to be built on the same platform, same chassis, basically, as the Tacoma, which this Land Cruiser is still based around, and the new Tundra is based around. The Sequoia is based around. Does that mean a lot of cool interchangeable parts? That's got me thinking, and that should have you thinking as well. So, but overall, I think Toyota, they know their company, man. They're the leader in this part of the world, like off-road. They're just the leader of it. No, there's no, I love my Bronco, but Bronco is not the leader of it. I love Jeeps, but guess what? You want to do some camping, some overlanding stuff like that, not a lot of people go to the Wrangler. They're going to this style of vehicle, and I, for one, am very excited by it. And does this push other brands? I did a video a while back on Ford, maybe bringing the Everest to the United States. Does this force Ford's hand a little bit, and they have to bring something to respond to this vehicle? Now, I've seen a lot of people also saying, well, this is a response to the Bronco and all that. No, I don't believe it is. I believe this is just Toyota flexing a little bit, saying, hey, if we want to build something cool, we're going to do it. And there's been a lot of people in the United States just clamoring for this Land Cruiser name to be back. So in the comments below, let me know. 2 questions. Will this affect Forerunner? Do we see Forerunner maybe going from 30 to 50K, and then this takes it 50 to 70K? And then, if you want to do something Sequoia crazy with a TRW Pro, you go and knock yourself out with that. And do you like this vehicle? Because I think it looks great. I'm very excited for it. The colors, I love that two-tone, kind of, that reminds you a little bit of that FJ Cruiser, right? With that white roof with the normal body painted colors. That's pretty fun. I think that crowd, more than any, has been waiting for something like this. So in the comments below, let me know what you think about this. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or this Land Cruiser I'm going to drive. This has been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.